that one day we'll have one of these meetings and I'll forget to record it.
You know what? You just said, shall I wait a sec? And I totally could have made you wait a sec. Hang on.
Oh, all right. I'll stop the recording.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something to say.
I was trying to put the curtain down because it was really bright and things are flapping.
Oh, by the way, cool top. Is it a top? Is it a dress? Is it?
It's a cardi.
Cardi. I love it.
I found it in a drawer the other day and I was like, I don't even remember buying this. And I think maybe actually my mum gave it to me. So.
Oh, it's great. It's like.
It hasn't got real words on it though. That really irritates me. It's like, it's just stupid made up words. And it's not even made up words. It's like, I don't think it really, does that say moo?
Maybe.
No, it doesn't
see that. Make up, it's your own secret language. You should make up your own meaning for those symbols.
I should.
Yeah, it's like I'm a badass bitch all over me.
Yes. How are you?
Well, I'm much better, thank you. I had COVID last week, so I know you were. Was it you weren't able to make the call? Did I have to cancel it?
I think you cancelled it.
I can't, because I know we've probably gone 2 weeks without a call, haven't we? So yeah, apologies for that.
Oh no, also I was away.
Right.
So, yes.
Great. Where were you?
Oh, we went off grid to a little tiny house in Pembrokeshire. Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh my God, tell me about that, because I'm sure there has plenty of ADHD relevance for getting away and getting off grid.
Dude, I've got so many things to tell you. I don't know what we're going to talk about today. But it was ace, because we got there on Friday and I spent Friday afternoon being really anxious because change of routine and change of like blah. And Joe was like, it's okay, we're all fine. And I'm like, but everything's different. So we kind of went for a walk and went for dinner at the local pub, and it was really nice. But then I woke up on Saturday morning, because we went to bed pretty early on Friday night. I woke up on Saturday morning just like, this is really great. Yeah. And then we just had the most lovely weekend. Could not get a signal, did not want a signal, but couldn't get one at all. And it was amazing. We did lots of walking and we had the most amazing Sunday lunch in this riverside pub, like massive Sunday roast. It was awesome. And then we went swimming in the sea.
Oh my God. Oh, what sort of temperature was the sea? Was it sort of like invigorating, or was it?
Yes, it took me 10 minutes to get in because I'm actually really afraid of cold water, because the last time I jumped into cold water, I got cold water shock, and I've literally never been that frightened. I literally thought I was gonna drown. And so I don't mind, like, I like swimming in the sea even if it's cold, but I can't just get in. I have to like do it really, 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 really slowly. But it was amazing because it was like this massive natural rock pool, and we were trying to find this place called the Witch's Cauldron, which is a collapsed cave. And you can only get to it by sea. Like, you can stand on this little land bridge and you can stand on the top and you can look down and you're like, well, nobody can climb down there without ropes because you'll die. And so we found this like little way down onto rocks, like couple 100 meters away, and it's just like this big natural swimming pool. So we got in there, and once we got in, there was a tunnel that went into the Witch's Cauldron bit, and we swam through, and it was all like green, like imagine somewhere like Mexico or something. You just wouldn't imagine being in the UK. And so we swam through, and in the Witch's Cauldron were these 3 Australian guys who had been paddleboarding around, and so we were chatting with them, and then we were like, oh, we'll swim out to sea, and then we swim back again. Oh, it was perfect.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. And what do you feel like it did to your thoughts in terms of busyness or any sort of negativities, anxieties? What did sort of getting off grid do for you?
Oh, it did all of the good things.
Oh, yes.
All of the good things. No, it was amazing. So like the change of routine was stressful. And I didn't, like, Friday evening, I was like, I'm gonna ruin the weekend because I'm not gonna be able to relax, and you know, all of that. But once I woke up on the Saturday morning, it was just awesome. There's an outdoor shower as well, which is my literal favorite thing in the world. It's like sun coming through the trees and stuff. But yeah, it was just amazing. It's like
brilliant.
Just really enjoyed the quiet and the just no doom scrolling, no screen time, and I've managed to keep that up actually for all of this week. Just like no phones after 7 p.m. and yeah, it's been really cool. It's been really
That's
cool.
really good. So it felt like a proper reset to
Did
get rid of bad habits and bad thought associations and everything. Yeah, sounds amazing. Amazing.
yeah.
You certainly look nice and relaxed.
I've slept loads, and then when I got back, I was like, oh, I'm not going to do any of my 7 a.m. power hours this week. I'm not having the week off, but I thought I'm not going to do any 7 a.m. power hours. And I'm just going to wake up when I wake up. And I've downloaded this sleep app thing, and my sleep debt has gone from like 16 hours of sleep debt down to like 2. And I do feel so much better. Like I feel so much better.
Yeah. So what sort of permanent changes are you thinking about making as a result of this sort of realization that you needed such a reset?
Yeah, so phones are stupid.
Fucking damn you phone.
I know, it's both awesome, and I just hate, like, I really hate it, and I also really find it obviously really, really useful as well.
Yeah.
So that permanent change is like, I am not going to allow myself, and like I actually say to Joe, please can you plug my phone in over there, because if I touch it, that's the end. Like that's the end.
Yeah.
So no phones after 7 p.m. I never do phones first thing in the morning anyway, so that's not a habit I've got to worry about. I've kind of got out of the habit of using Instagram, which makes me happy. Like, so I'm only going on to just like post something like a hit and run, and then I'm kind of coming back on again. So like I'm mostly using stories as well, so I'm just like, oh, here's some stuff I'm doing, and like I can record a story, and then I don't have to worry about comments on posts so much. So that's something that's worked. And then I'm reading more again. So I always read a lot anyway, but I'm reading even more, which is amazing. What else have I done? Yeah, just trying to figure out how I can do. So last week was really interesting because I really loved getting more sleep, but I also found it a bit stressful not having my morning routine, because I love being up before anybody else in the morning and doing my little yoga and having my cup of tea before anybody else bothers me. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can get more sleep and still get up at 5:45, because I enjoy doing that. And I haven't figured that out yet, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What time do you normally go to bed?
Too late. That's the problem. And it's like, and some, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I can't get to bed earlier because I am teaching at the studio. So I'm teaching trapeze or pole. And on Mondays in term time, I'm dancing until 9, which is really late. And I'm like, I just wish that could be an earlier class, because I hate being home at 9:30, because I want to be going to bed then, really. Or at least I want to be going to bed by 10, but then I've got to eat dinner, and because I'm like, if I eat dinner before I go dancing, I'm not going to go dancing.
Okay.
So
yeah. So it's fitting in the things you want to do, isn't it? Because you could choose not to do all those things, and then you'd have a sad face.
Exactly, yeah, and that's not an option. So it's just
Do naps count with sleep debt or not?
They do count with sleep debt, but I have never mastered the art of napping. I don't know how one naps without feeling like crap afterwards, or even how one naps. Like I just can't. I've never been able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be willing to give it a try again. But
yeah. I mean, is there? Can you catch up on sleep at weekends when you don't have to be up at 6 and?
Yeah, and I do that. But the problem is, I think that the debt builds up so much during the week that I'd have to sleep for like 12 hours at the weekend to bust it, and that feels like a waste to me. Like I'm not spending my whole weekend in bed. So
yeah. Ooh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one. If it was just like, oh, I can't nod off, it would be very different to I've got this activity and therefore it's preventing me from going to bed early. And that's a tough one. But you might find that with your newfound liberation from your phone, that you might feel better anyway, even if you've got a bit of sleep debt, that could help ameliorate some of those bad things that you had before. So see how it goes, because you think that of course a zero sleep debt would be amazing, but we don't want to like go into perfectionism about it as well, do we? And get upset if it's not 100%. So
Exactly. Yeah. So I might have to delete this app soon because I think I can feel myself sitting down that perfectionist route.
Yeah. Do you know what? I heard another coach talking about Noom. I think it might have been James Smith actually talking about how was it Noom that this band that tells you about your recovery times and all that kind of thing. And he said he used it for a while and got some valuable data, but in the end, he didn't like being told when he was supposed to be feeling energetic and supposed to be feeling tired, because sometimes what he felt didn't match what was on the wristband.
That's what I'm getting from this app as well. And it's like, oh, your productivity peak is approaching. And I might be like, ugh. And then other times it'd be like, oh, this is going to be your dip. And I'll be like, ah! So
Right. Yeah. So it might be that it's given you some useful things to think about, but then it's time to go alone, take the stabilizers off.
Yeah, well, I only wanted to pay for it for a month anyway. So I paid for it for a month, and I think it's been worth it for that month. And then I think I'm going to ditch it before it renews. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And use your own body as feedback.
Yes. Yeah, because I have been feeling really good. So, but anyway, how are you?
Well, I am so much better, thank you. This time last week, I was on my deathbed with COVID, just feeling so horrible. But I think, looking on the bright side, it did give me a little reset that I needed myself. I got loads and loads of rest, and I was just, just totally listened to my body and just thought, okay, what do I need? And rested when because I'm very good at ignoring signals about feeling tired and needing to take a break because it's like, no, gotta do. And suddenly when you don't have to do, it's like, okay, I can get into this. So it's almost like I had my own little COVID retreat.
Yeah. You know what though? I do think, and you shouldn't need to be ill to have a rest. Like that is bullshit capitalism telling us that. But like sometimes it is like we've talked about this before, the little hospital fantasy.
Yes, it is. That's totally what it is, isn't it? Yeah. And it's sort of like when you're doing nothing, it's like ideas come, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. And I had this idea linked to my hypnotherapy studies. All the classwork stuff is finished now, which means that we don't meet together as a group anymore. And we basically have to beaver away, do all the case studies, do the coursework, and then we get sent the graduation, the certificate in the post.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, that's such a horrible anticlimax. And it really wasn't appealing to my sense of being excited about qualifying. Of course, it will feel good to get it done, but I sent out a WhatsApp to the group and saying, look, is anybody up for a graduation reunion in February? Let's all try and get it done in the next 6 months, because also there's no freaking deadline on how soon you have to finish this thing.
That's really bad. Like even for neurotypical people, that's quite bad.
And it was like I could hear the Top Gun music, the danger zone. It's like,
yeah.
No. I needed to make a deadline, and also to get an excited vision about something, to actually imagine getting together with my classmates and all clapping each other and all feeling this sense of, yeah, we did it. That feels like a very positive vision to draw me into the future and give me a deadline. And also arranging it for the group, it makes me feel like I'm doing something for other people, which is in turn helping me, because they're all like, oh, let's do it. I don't think I've had one person that says, no, I don't want to do that. Yeah. And because we're part of the whole reason we do these videos is not just to talk about the problems of ADHD, but also talk about the solutions. And I just thought giving yourself a positive outcome and a deadline, even if you have to create it yourself out of somewhere, just pull it out of outside.
Yeah,
it's a good strategy, isn't it, to sort of give yourself that little bit of motivation to do things.
It is. And I think you should feed back to the course organizers that they can't just like leave you hanging like that, because I actually think that's I think that's poor design. I think it's poor course design, because it's like everybody struggles with that. Like everybody struggles with that. If there's like an open-ended deadline, there are very few people who can go, oh, I'm just going to finish this. And it's like you need to be able to hand it in. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise it's never going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know what the completion rate is in the course. It'd be quite interesting to
I
find out.
bet
But
it's not that good. I bet it's not that good. Because like the completion rate in courses generally is appalling. Like people don't realize how bad, like courses across the board, because they're
wow.
just not designed. It's not designed into it because people are understandably and I'm people as well.
Mhm.
Understandably very focused on, oh, I'm going to get people into my course and I'm going to get them to start it, but actually getting them to finish it can be really difficult. And
Okay.
there isn't like like you say, like a graduation ceremony or whatever. I was just talking to somebody this morning actually about my book writing courses and how, because I don't really have a book writing course as in, by the time you finish this course you will have finished your book, because that is a big thing to do, and like that's not a reasonable promise to make. But
Mhm.
what I do try and do is set up things so that they've got some kind of an end point. And I was just thinking about how to do that with a photographer friend of mine, and we were talking about, well, maybe we could have like a photo session for people with their finished books, and
Amazing.
what could I could give them like a graduation gift almost. And so it's like, come and do this thing, and you get a discount on the photographs, because he'll do a discount on the photographs for them, but we'll put on this party for you kind of twice a year, and you can pick which one you want to go to, and it just
I
gives them
love
that kind of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and it's exactly aligned with what there's this whole thing is that if you can't have an exciting vision of what it feels like to finish, it's much harder to get yourself to do things that's basically hard work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like it flows, but I imagine you're saying to people, don't wait for the flow. Sometimes you've just got to do it.
Yeah, you can't wait for the flow. Like people who wait for the flow will never do anything, and that's like a really amateur way of looking at things as well. And like I might get hate for that on here. Fucking bring it, because it's just like, if you're just gonna sit there and wait for inspiration to strike, you're gonna die of old age before you do anything. You've got to sit your ass down and do the work. But
Yeah,
we also need that help from somebody from outside sometimes to do that as well. And so that's why there are hypnotherapy courses and book
yeah,
coaches and people who can
yeah.
help you do it. But it's ultimately, you've got to sit your ass down and do the work, because whether you feel like it or not, if you're not in the mood, get in the mood.
Yeah, yeah, and that also reminds me of something else where it's a quote Earl Nightingale said: "Ideas are like slippery fish. If you don't spear them with a pencil, they'll get away." And
Yeah.
it's why they say creative people, they need to keep a pen and paper handy all the time to write down ideas.
Yeah.
But I feel that sometimes I have to go one step further, because I had this idea towards the end of term. Wouldn't it be nice to put together a book for our tutor with our thanks, a little picture of ourselves and a little thank you for everything that he's done over the course of the year. And I was sort of like driving back home one month thinking about this, and I had to pull over the car and send a message to the group, because I knew I would probably talk myself out of the idea if I allowed myself too much time to think about it, because it did involve work. It did involve hurrying everybody up to get their stuff in so I could get this book made and give it to him on the last day we saw each other. But when it comes to, again, thinking about strategies to help ADHDers do things, how many good ideas have you had that have just slipped away, that because you didn't take action on them immediately?
Yeah, thousands.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like not everything is as critical as, I mean, I had to get that done because it had an end of term, like a deadline on it. So that was good in its own way. But I knew that if I'd left it till the next morning, I'd have been like, oh, do you know what? That is just, no, I'm not going to do that, because it'll mean chasing people, and it'll mean, all the pain of putting something together. But in the end, it was so good to actually do it and do something nice for somebody as well. But that felt
Yeah.
like a good thing. But I'm just sort of thinking about past Vicky wouldn't have.
No.
I'd have gone, oh, somebody else can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it somebody else's problem, and then nobody else does it.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's getting some kind of, I suppose it's self-awareness of the way that you can trip yourself up sometimes, and thinking of strategies around it. I'm sure you do the same since your diagnosis. It's like, I can recognize this. This is part of the problem. And like,
Yeah.
what do I do about it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's a bug.
I know.
What is it? Oh, it's like the world's tiniest caterpillar. I don't know if you can see it.
Ow. That's a little caterpillar.
I think so.
Oh my
It's like
God.
fairy. I'm going to investigate that later. Sorry.
It's going to grow into the world's tiniest butterfly.
No. It's just got like really long hair sticking out.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know where it's
Oh.
come from. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay. It's literally like 2 millimeters long.
Is it? I feel like I should let you go now so you could Google it.
No, I actually have something to tell you. So guess what I did on Friday night?
What? I can't.
I did stand-up comedy for the first time ever.
Amazing. How was it?
It was really good. Like I came off and Joe was like, oh my God. And the guy who organized it and who invited me and was like, you're doing this because I've been talking about it but not doing anything about it, which is like back to what we were saying. He just came up and was like, well, fuck me. And then the other comedians who have all been doing this for like years were like, can't believe that was your first time.
Wow.
And so I was just like, oh my God. So yeah, it was funny on purpose in public, and now I'm gonna be doing stand-up comedy on a semi-regular basis.
Oh my God. That is just incredible. What did it feel like to get up there and do?
Oh, it felt hideous to walk up there. I thought I was going to puke. But then because this is the thing, you see, because I feel like I'm a bit of not a fraud, but like people were like, oh my God, I can't believe that was your first time. But I've performed a lot. Like I've performed on trapeze a lot. I've given talks and stuff like that, and I've got a performance switch that I can just flip. So like I was like, like I'm really good at dissociating. So like people were like, oh, are you nervous? And I was like, no, it's not really, because I can like make myself believe that a thing isn't happening until 5 minutes before I have to go on, and then I'm like, so but yeah, as soon as I got on the stage and actually started. I loved it because I love being that kind of center of attention when like not in a party, but like that center of attention. And so yeah, I really loved it, and it was quite a thing.
What gave you the idea to do it in the first place? What inspired you?
Well, back in lockdown, I did an improv course online just for fun, just because I thought because I've always liked. I thought it would be really good for writing skills and that kind of thing. And it was good for all of those things. But I really, really loved it. And I was like, oh, maybe I could do some stand-up comedy one day. And that was all it was. Like, it was just one day. And so, like, it's been on my mind for 4 years. I was like, oh, I'm going to find another, maybe I'll find an open mic night locally and there weren't any. And, maybe I'll do this. And then I happened to mention it to a guy that I met in networking who is a stand-up comedian and speaking coach. And he was just like, well, do it then. Like, here are some venues. And then I saw him again a couple of months ago, and he was like, July the 19th, I'm hosting a comedy show in Worcester, and I want you to come and do it. And I was like, oh, but I've never done it before. He was just like, well, you're booked in now. So so I kind of had no choice, because I would have let him down if I hadn't, and so it was just, yeah.
I love that. So how long did it take you to prepare for it?
I started thinking about it a couple of months ago, as soon as he mentioned it, and I kind of knew what I was going to start with, what I was going to open with, and then it took me a couple of weeks to think about the themes. I didn't want it to be just like a bunch of anecdotes. I wanted it to, and I deliberately not looked at that much of the stand-up, because I didn't want to copy people or anything. And so I had this idea that I wanted to have something to say, and I wanted it to have a story arc. And so I had like 10 minutes to create. And so, yeah, I just kind of pulled out some things, and how can I relate these to, it was all about cosplaying as a human, like what it's like to be autistic ADHD, really. And so it's just like funny stories, but like with a point, and with the point, bringing it back around to the start again. But yeah, it took me probably a week of really, really, really intensive prep, and 3 or 4 weeks of kind of, oh, there's an idea and let's put these together. And yeah. So
So how long were you on stage for?
10 minutes. And do you want to know the hilarious thing, Vicky? Right?
Yeah.
You know how we're always talking about how I'm late for literally everything and I'm so fucking disorganized? I was really panicking because I didn't want to be rude and take up more than my allotted 10-minute slot. And I forgot to set the timer on my watch as well, because I was so panicky. And when I came off, Joe was like, "Oh my God, not only am I amazed at how good you were, but you were exactly 10 minutes." And I was like, why
Wow.
is my brain like this? Like, why can I not be on time to appointments, but like my brain will be like, here are 10 minutes exactly, and I'll get off stage. It's just like, how does that work?
That's just brilliant. It shows you've got it deep within, Vix, deep within.
You just need to draw it out.
Yeah. But isn't that, I'm so pleased for you and proud of you for doing that, because that takes some real guts to do that. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. And that was what I thought. So I was like, even if I'm terrible, most
Yeah.
people wouldn't dare even think about doing that, let alone get up on stage and do it. So I was proud of myself even before I started. So
Yeah, exactly. And how many others were there on that night?
there was 7 comedians and Dave, the host. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you were all supporting each other and just
It was
like,
so nice.
so good. That's so good. Oh my gosh. Well, we need to know when more of these gigs are coming up, because I want to see it. I want to be there.
Yeah, I will definitely let you know. I'm doing it again in October in Worcester. So there you go.
Right. Okay. Okay. October in Worcester. What date?
I don't know yet. I feel like the 20th is a familiar sounding. Oh no, maybe the 18th actually. Whatever the Friday is, Friday the 18th.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's see. But that won't be the only one, will it? Forever.
No, because one of the other comedians invited me to come to some of her comedy jam nights and things in Birmingham. So yeah, so we'll see.
Fantastic. Oh well, we are witnessing the birth of a star here. This is amazing. Are you going to do any video clips for social media at all, or is it just going to be private stand-ups?
I probably will do. I have got a video of this one, but it's not great audio, so I'm probably not going to share it publicly. But if you want to watch it, I'll send you the link.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to. Oh, how exciting! Thanks, Vix. Oh, that is very, very cool. So yeah, here's to like what you've achieved, something incredible. You've had an idea and you've set your mind to it and you've done it, and that's just like wow.
I think that's like ADHD superpower. Maybe we should talk about that next week and like how amazing ADHD can be.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's bloody incredible, and I'm sure it like all the connections you could make in your mind really helped you make that story arc. So
yeah.
Okay, we will talk about. We won't forget. Let me stop recording. We won't